We'd like to welcome everybody to the Coach and Coach podcast. Sorry if my energy ain't up right now. I just got back from Oxford, and I ain't feeling my best right now. You know, after spending almost $80 in food, having to walk almost 3 miles, I had to witness something, Coach, that I'm very upset about right now, and we're going to talk about it. As you can see, I'm in my I don't know what you call this attire, my pissed off attire. I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping that you can bring me back down because right now I am very upset.
I'll
Coach,
do my best.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Ole Miss is 6-0. I don't know what everybody's so upset about. As of right now, they did hurt me in my picks, but Oklahoma, if they can figure something out offensively, as long as they win, they cover. And Arkansas and Tennessee's playing a heck of a game. I've seen some good football. Alabama, Missouri was a really good game, and Ole Miss is 6-0. So I mean, what more could you ask for?
I could ask for a lot more because, first of all, we look like sloppy garbage out there today because Washington State, who had traveled all the way across country, was able and had a chance. You made a good point on that. I am sick and tired of the face guard, but I'll talk about that later on. You made a good point. You said, boy, I'm glad this is not the NFL because we would have put them in field goal range when the ball was just floating in the air. And instead of us looking at the ball, we looked at the player and said, hey, a good idea would be to tackle the player before he gets to the ball.
Yeah, it's just a weird game. I've got the team. I got all the statistics in front of me, and from a statistic standpoint, Ole Miss dominates the game from a score box. Even penalties, like had more penalty yards than they did. I mean, every single stat except time of possession, they are a leader in, and I thought that it really wasn't that you played terrible. You just had certain plays and drives that you didn't execute. And I mean, I think I read a stat from Chase Parham, who covers Ole Miss. Ole Miss I think they had outgained Washington State early 97 yards to 9, and we're down 7-0. I mean, it was just that kind of day. They just didn't. Sleepy performance.
After last year, after the Kentucky debacle, we can't have these performances. The main thing, all right, I got inside the stadium. The game started at 11:45. I was seated in my seat around probably 10:30, and the energy level was terrible. The players had no. I don't know was it because this was the first morning game we had all season, but there was no pop. There was no hey, let's go get after it. It was more of let's just there was a time and I don't know, I still don't know the status of Austin Simmons, but he left warm-ups to go sign autographs and take pictures. I did see that. So it's just like I don't know. Maybe Washington State wasn't on their radar. They're 3-2. They come in. Are they still? I almost call it the WAC conference. Are they still Pac-10?
They are the leaders of the Pac-12 right now.
Pac-12. So
the Pac-2.
So it's just. I mean, I don't know. Was it because it was Washington State? But we can ill afford to have negative vibes going into what we got to deal with next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to look at it positively, next week will be a game that Ole Miss will have to exert a lot of emotional energy just to have a chance to win. You didn't exert any today. I thought it was if sleepwalking, like if you looked it up in the dictionary, I thought that's what a picture of the Ole Miss football team would have been next to the word sleepwalking. It was very sleepy day, or at
Yeah,
least that's what I saw on TV. And I think everything can be pointed to it. Ole Miss plays 9 games inside the state of Mississippi this year. As expensive as it is, you talked about how you spent money and walked 3 miles. Like, would you rather spend your money and walk 3 miles watching Washington State, or do you want to see them play Florida or South Carolina in a couple weeks?
I just want them to play good.
Yeah,
Want them to play well. Um, there's been instances. I've been Ole Miss since 1989, so there's been instances I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot, and it's just this game. As the fourth quarter came into play, the first thing that came to my mind was Jacksonville State. I was there at that game.
I
Matter
was
of
there
fact,
too.
I think Richard was playing. Richard
Yep.
Freeland was playing for Jacksonville State then. And that game was probably it it, it replaced Vandy in '97, I believe, when we blitzed in overtime and Vandy just hit it to Todd Yoder, tight end for Vandy, and they won the game. I remember still sitting in the stands when everybody had left. So if they had cameras back then, they would have saw me just still sitting there like, what just happened? So it had those vibes. I just wish play is one thing. Hats off to Washington State. They came to play ball. Their fans came to play ball. I just wish energy level, on the energy level, I just wish we would have had more, urgency to get it done. I think overall, offensively and defensively, we probably played our worst game this season, and we escaped with a win. But this is one of the things that you often hear in professional sports, and in the NBA especially. You don't want to back into the playoffs. You don't want to go into the playoffs because theoretically speaking, with the next 2 weeks, you might as well say that is the next week is the field of 64, and then we will go to Oklahoma. That's the field of 32. I mean, our playoffs, when you're in the SEC, your playoffs start way before the playoffs start. And one of the things that you don't want to do in the playoffs is back in. You don't want to back into the playoffs. You want to have good momentum going into the playoffs. So maybe this game they'll understand. You did tell me, and I haven't looked at the presser yet, but you did tell me that Lane didn't look too pleased in the post game, on the field post game interview.
Yeah, I think he called it like a survive and advance thing. He was like, I guess if there's like that was like his positive to it is like, hey, this wasn't a landmine that cost us anything at the end of the day. But yeah, he was not happy, and I know you want to say like, I wish we would have played with more energy. I wish we would have played better, and that's what's crazy about it is I just felt like as I watched it, it's like they wanted to put stuff on film for Georgia, but they wanted to be vanilla in doing it. Like I didn't think from a
I do believe the play calling was very manila. It
it
was very,
was like
very bland. We're not gonna really, but sometimes I'm glad things like this happen because some reason I always have an example. I remember when I was at Coffeyville. It was 2005. We were one game from Jackson, and we had a 30-point lead on DeSoto Central. Yes, DeSoto Central was in 1A for some reason. They destroyed a lot of the things that I want to do, but we had a 30-point lead at halftime. And I remember telling my assistant coach, Eastock Tibahar just walked in, and we're on the bench, and I said, I'm not going to show them nothing. I'm not going to show them nothing. They're not going to see any of our presses because we got this game. Coach, we lost that game by 2.
Coach
I
Coach
held on
Jackson.
to I held on to what I didn't want to show, but I took it home with me too. They outscored me. We had a 31-point lead at halftime. They outscored me 34-2 in the third quarter. And
You know, Coach Jackson changed my complete mindset as a play caller. He when he gave me the leash as offensive coordinator, we were practicing all kind of stuff, and I was like, we're not putting this on film, and he was like, well, why are you practicing it? He was like,
Uh,
he was like, put it on film and make them prepare for it. He was like, that just adds more to their. And from that point on, if it could be put on film, I wanted to get in 1,000 formations. Just we might only run 2 plays out of 1,000 formations, but you was going to have to learn your alignment and assignment on 1,000 formations. And that's just what I felt like it was a. It's like how many times did they run a now screen today?
oh
How many
my
times did
God.
they run a quarterback draw? It was like they
Oh
were
my gosh, a
building.
lot.
To me, it was like we're going to put this on film and we're going to make them prepare for it. And next week we'll have the branch off of it. Like
It could have very easily
you
backfired
run.
on
I
us.
know, like I don't know if I've seen. I don't know if I've seen it out of Charlie Weiss's offense, but like when Corral was quarterback at Ole Miss, they loved running a quarterback draw RPO where the backs lead blocking, but instead of blocking, he's just running up the seam. And then
This
they
will be
loved running.
This will be Chandler's first game, first big game outside of the confines of Vaught Hemingway.
Yeah, he. I think it's been good for him that he hasn't had to. He's got to get his feet wet and not been in that environment, but he's going to see a totally different environment in 6 days.
Did his play today, did it worry you? Because a lot of his throws were bad. They were
Yeah,
behind. They were behind receivers today.
he threw a couple balls behind. He threw a couple balls over. The thing that'll scare me next week more than anything is like his release point makes him like I don't think he's but 6'1", and his release point keeps him at a 6'1" quarterback. I think like for Ole Miss fans, like
He did have
I
one
think
get
of
knocked.
Chad Kelly was up here with his release. Bo Wallace was like here with his release. Chambliss is right here. Like he doesn't gain anything, and I think that Kirby Smart's defenses have always been able to bat passes down. They're really smart. And I would be more worried about being in like a third and short situation where you need to throw a quick game and you have balls batted down. I think his performance today was just indicative of the fact that they were sleepwalking. I just think he didn't have it today. They'll be juiced next week. They'll be ready to play next week. And we've seen him when he's ready to play. And I think he'll be fine from that standpoint. There's certain things within his game that I think Georgia could give him fits. And that being, one example of it, and we'll get deeper into it going into next week and or tomorrow probably, and then on Thursday. But I don't think you can look at today's performance and think that there's concern for the future. I just think that today was just one of those days that you had to, and credit. I mean, you kind of got to give them credit to get through it because we've seen Ole Miss teams not be able to get through it.
I would agree to that if we were playing a better defense. It wasn't like Washington State was really putting a lot of pressure. Now, granted, it was the play call kind of kept it vanilla. There was some. It was 3 times in particular where I don't think he read the blitz pre-snap, and you can't make that mistake next week. You even if the play is one thing, you gotta know where that blitz is coming from. And pre-snap, I know 3 plays in particular where even I saw it. My son was right beside me. I said he's finna get sacked because he never looked over there. And as soon as he got into his drop, he was sacked because I saw the blitz coming. I saw where it was going to come to. I saw the confusion it was going to be. And I looked at my son. I said he's about to get sacked. And that was that's the thing that kind of worries me a little bit because he's about to be in an they kept harking on that he's never played in front of this many people. Um, Imagine that many that ain't on your side now because playing at Ole Miss, yeah, you can't really on the it's Ole Miss fans you're winning. You finna go to Athens.
Do you
Where,
think him missing the blitz situation or like, I don't know who I'm not I'm not a Charlie Weiss guy. I don't know like who's responsible for protections and things like that. But
I
do
wouldn't
you
think
think it's
he was
because
right
he's a
now.
half read guy that he's a half field read guy that he's missing that, or do you think
But see,
it's just a flat out miss?
that's the thing. I don't know who's supposed to make that call. Are they trusting him to slide the not coverage, but slide the protection?
Protection.
I don't know who makes that call right now. I really haven't, but he's really haven't been in. I was shocked last week that LSU was not able to do what Washington State did. They didn't. I think Washington State did a good job of disguising their coverages and disguising their blitz because I think you would have to be at a vantage point where you could see the whole field
But
because where
man,
I'm sitting, I could see it.
on TV it looked like they just which I'm not gonna lie. I had to take my son to a birthday party and we all loaded up and went to it. So I missed a good chunk of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter. To me, it looked like they played man behind a lot of stuff. Like a lot of his, like they played a lot of man. Um, to me, that's what I saw, especially in the first half. Like the touchdown pass he missed in the back of the end zone with man, he missed a post that
But
he
that play
threw
call, let's
up
talk
the
about
hashes.
let's talk about that one. The play call kind of was iffy for me on that on the fourth down. That play.
You talking about the first drive?
Yeah, the first drive where we were held, um, we turned over on downs. That particular play where he overthrew the receiver, that was going to be a difficult throw anyway because he was that receiver was semi bracketed.
Yeah, and just the situation on the field, like the way the play developed, I felt like it wasn't your best play call in a condensed area. Like I just felt like they ran bodies into bodies, not away from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, there were several times, like there was a third and 5 or 6. Like I needed to do a better job of taking notes, but there were several third down play calls that I was like, that's just a bad. And you know, I'm not the one wearing that headset. I might have would have made a bad play call
You
too.
call it what it is, man. We gotta quit making these. I understand that they're college coaches, but they miss things too, and we
Yeah,
see. I mean, there's some things I never forget. Just speaking on that game, when I lost that game to DeSoto Central, it was a fan in the stand said, "Coach, why didn't you call a timeout?" And you want to? My answer in my brain was, "I don't know." You know,
yeah,
it wasn't like I know everything down here. I'm the coach. I really didn't know. Why didn't I call timeout to stop, the run that they was making? So what you see is legit. Not, I mean, I think sometimes we give the coaches they make enough money to deal with our criticism. Uh,
but yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm not trying to be critical, but I've been in a headset before. I've been in a headset where I've had fourth and goal at the 4, and I had to call a timeout because I was like, I don't know what to call right here because we hadn't ran the ball well, and like what do you do? I've been in that situation, and I know that, so I know it's difficult. But there was some play calls today that I was just like, I don't understand.
And that's my thing.
What
I
we're
knew
doing.
you are a great X and O guy. You can see that stuff, and that's why I was asking you. That's why I want to, because there was a lot of stuff I just didn't understand. And maybe it was okay. We got Georgia next week. We don't want to put too much on what we worked on during the bye week out there, because I'm pretty sure during that bye week, I don't think we saw anything that they worked on during the bye week.
Yeah, and I mean they admitted to spending 2 of the 5 days on Georgia.
And rightfully so. Why wouldn't you? you know, because that game is important on on so many levels, on the SEC level and on the national level.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they end up they got the win. I thought after halftime, I thought, okay, well maybe they have a little bit more energy popping into after halftime, but then they came out and they wasn't all the way flat, but they were semi flat. You could it's almost like you when you open a drink and it got a little just a little fizz. It's not enough. It's just enough to get you through whatever you eating, but it ain't nothing that's gonna quench anything. And it just felt like that. The sack that what got me. Um, the third down sack. I think it was Eccles who's doing an amazing job. I do want to come. I do want to talk about him later on. But after the sack, Washington State don't have any more timeout, guys. We spent 5, 6, 7 seconds celebrating, and by the time we got lined up, you can't even see what's going on. Boom, they run a play, and then boom, we get the pass interference. Now, what if homeboy would have been in the wrong situation because he had a step on the corner? It just so happened this guy come from safety and knocked him off his path. We gotta understand the situation. You know, they had already lined the ball up, and we had 3 players on the other side of the ball celebrating.
Yeah, and you know, I go back to that. I guess is that the drive before the final drive, or is that is the final drive?
That's the
That's the
final
final
drive.
drive.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about our coaching staff and being critical of them. I didn't understand why Washington State ran outside zone with 39
That was
seconds left in the game
stupid. Let's just
and
call it
lost
what that
like
is.
15 seconds.
With
I
0 timeouts.
yeah.
Why? There's nothing. You're not finna break a 30-yard run in a prevent defense. I'm sorry.
Well,
You don't have no timeouts.
that's the only thing I could think of that they were trying to do was that they thought we're going to catch Ole Miss dropping 8 and playing off, and there's nobody. It's a light box, and maybe we could pop one. I mean, I've done that before, but I've done it at the end of the half, not at the end of see if we could get yardage at the end of the half, call a
Yeah,
timeout.
but not the
I've
end of
never
the
done it
game.
at the end of the game when I had to have points there.
It makes sense at the end of the half. You're going into halftime. There's but that's the end of the game. So when they ran that, I was like, well, thank you, but that was a dumb play.
Yeah. I just think that you gotta look at it as the fact that you got to 6-0, and
Yeah,
if you beat Georgia next week and you beat Oklahoma, and I think the best scenario of the situation is to split that 2-game
if we can
stretch.
get a split, that's what I'm thinking.
But
You get a split.
for just the argument's sake, if you win both of those games, no matter how you win them by 1 point or 20 points,
I don't care.
come back home to play. It's either South Carolina or Florida. The Washington State game won't even be in the conversation. So I think at the end of the day, take your win and let's get in the meetings room tomorrow and figure out what we've got to do to beat Georgia.
I get that, but I like to look at the reasons why we get to these conversations because we was lethargic against Kentucky last year, and we went into a Florida game and blew an opportunity, and then at the end of the season, when they doing the selection, we're trying to lobby when we had control. So I just don't want I don't want us to be in when we play the Citadel.
Yeah.
I don't want that same energy against the Citadel.
Well, I think if you go, I think anytime, I think it was the wrong time for this team to have a bye week. I think they were healthy enough, and they're kind of rolling. They're the kind of team that, to me, looks like they needed to play, because what they did is they got 2 weeks off pretty much and got told how great they are. They got to sit at number 4 for 2 weeks, and then it's not like you jumped back into it with a big time conference game that would have kicked off at 2:30 or 6:30 tonight. You played Washington State at 11:45 a.m. in front of it looked like a crowded place, but it looked like a sleepy crowd. If Washington State was on defense, the crowd for majority of that game, the crowd noise was louder when Washington State was on defense than when Ole Miss was on defense.
Yes, they were loud.
So I think you got a 2-week break where you got told how great you were, and then you played. And there were some players, like if I was Kiffin and them, I don't know if I wouldn't be tampering in the portal to see if I couldn't get a couple players from Washington State. I mean, they competed. Like, you got to give them credit. And so you played a Washington State team at 11:45 in front of a sleepy crowd that couldn't give you the juice. You had to create your own juice, and you struggled to create your own juice, and you got the results you got. I think that's your reasons why it happened. I don't think schematically it was anything other than the fact you slept. You came into it sleepy, and at no point I don't know the mindset of the team. I don't think it just seemed like they never thought they were losing, so they never thought they had to create that extra
Exactly.
juice.
Exactly. And well, look, to your point about the bye, the wrong time to have a bye. Um, do you think that, I thought about this at the game. Do you think that affected Chambliss to be on the roll and then all of a sudden you got to stop? Because you come into the season, you was fine being a backup. You know, you could go to the store and you can go to the library. Don't nobody know who you are. But now you're rolling and then you run into a bye week. Everybody know who you are now. I'm pretty sure if they didn't know your face, they ungoogled your face. They know what you look like. I don't know if
They done made a song about him.
yeah, or maybe I don't know if he put a shirt on and got Chambliss on the back. I don't know, but to be rolling and then hit a bye, and he's not no rookie quarterback. And oh my freaking word, man, Texas is beating Oklahoma 20-6. But anyway, yeah, that is. Well, you said that game is weird, and
I know. After I picked it, I was like, this is it's a really weird game that Texas has looked terrible, and they'll come out and look really good. But I also think they're playing Mateer, who just had thumb surgery, and I don't think he's ready to come back. Like, he just hasn't looked himself to me.
it looked like they just took a punt or a kick return back, so that unchanged the game. So, coach, going into next week is going to be, man, we going, especially as being Ole Miss fans, we're going to be going through it next week because this Georgia game, which is at 2:30, is a big
Which
game.
is a big deal. I think it's a big deal that game you're getting that game at 2:30 and not 6:45.
Yeah.
And just to hit back on what you said, like, was it a bad deal for Chambliss to get to have his bye week? I thought his biggest problem. I think he's a really good RPO quarterback, and I think he's a really good. Um, I think they do triangle type stuff with him really well.
Well, let me ask you this then.
And today they didn't do any of that. Like, you didn't see it.
I was just about to ask you this. Outside of the touchdown run, did you think they told him to scale back on the running? Because he did not. Usually when that pocket collapsed, he's gone. Today he hung around.
Well, I think we've seen him escape reading like triangle type concepts, or, for anybody that don't understand that, it's like a 3-level.
Yeah, explain that to me. And Coach Gladney, he already told
like triangle, like, you see him run, like, he loves to get to like that third read with Daquan Wright, like on the flat. So you might have like a snag route, a corner route, and a flat route. And you're reading it in a triangle. Like, I call it a triangle because you're reading it in a triangle. Like, you'd have a snag, corner, flat, any kind of 3-level deal that he reads, and you end up seeing Daquan Wright involved in it a lot. Or you see, if it's not there, he pulls down running. And today it looked like they ran a lot of more vertical half field concepts. So I don't know if he was trying to make plays in that and the pocket collapses on him and he doesn't realize, like, it's time to get out of there. I just thought the passing game looked a little different to me than it had in previous weeks. And I don't know if that's something they were wanting to put on film.
It did.
I don't know. But it just didn't look the same. And I asked you if during the game, if you thought that Daquan Wright was probably like our biggest, is he the feature guy? Because Chambliss has always been able to get to him in those situations, and it seemed like today wasn't the case. So,
but he's turning to, even at the end though, he is turning to one of our most reliable bodies. It kind of like, and pretty now we can expect, and I'm pretty sure Lane Kiffin, a lot smarter than I am. I'm pretty sure now they can expect that now he will be a focal point of defenses that come in. We can't let 8 get free release. He's a big guy, so bumping him probably going to hurt you more than it'll hurt him. But we can't let him just get free releases. We're going to have to pay attention to him. We can't put a
But
linebacker
you usually see them motion him a lot to get the free release. Like they love running split flow zone. So like you would see him run a split flow action, like motion him across like he's split flow, and then he's out in the flat. And it's just simple, easy like access throws for him. And you didn't see and like I said, I didn't get to watch a good chunk of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter. But when I saw Ole Miss passing game, it was like they dialed up one-on-ones that he couldn't hit vertically, or
Yeah.
they ran a bunch of now screens. Like that's just what it looked like to me.
Well,
And I don't know if that's his strength.
his pocket passing was not the best today. So
He still went 21 of 29.
yeah, but those 8 were ugly 8s. But a
Yeah.
lot of those passes were, like you said, they were the quick hitters, and had a lot of yak yards on that. On top of that, but hey, like you said, we're 6-0. I still would have loved to see a little
20
bit.
of 29, excuse me.
I still would have loved to see a little bit more dominance on at least one side of the ball. I was just to see the struggle. Well, I don't know if you could call it struggle. More of the going through the motion, and that might be a little bit too harsh too. I just wanted to see one side of the ball, take control, and I didn't see that today.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be shocked though if you don't see it next week. Like you're or at least the effort to. I don't know if they're good enough to do it against Georgia, but you're going to see the effort too.
And you really can't even add in special teams anymore because at this point now, kickoff is just wind sprints during the game.
What's that line look like to you early next week? Tomorrow, I guess. I'll see if I can find it.
I would think I think it'd be Georgia 2.5.
2.5.
2.5 Georgia.
Let me see if I can find an early line.
I feel like it'll open up Georgia 2.5.
If it's 2.5, man, Vegas Vegas feels good about us because that's just pretty much saying you're giving Georgia a home field advantage.
Well, and I think that's what they're going to get because Georgia have not been dominant at home. Teams have been able to do what they needed to do against Georgia. So
now the early line is Georgia -5.5.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
The money line is Georgia -182, Ole Miss +150, and the over/under is 54.5.
5.5 is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say 4.5.
I don't know if they, maybe looking at this game today, like, okay, maybe there's some holes in Chambliss' game, and they might be factoring in this is Chambliss' first road SEC game. So, but I still think 5.5. At most, I would have went 3.5, maybe 4.
And they may feel good about Georgia for those reasons, and they went 5.5 so that tomorrow all the money comes in on Ole Miss. That line comes down, and Vegas figured out how to make money. Like all the things you said is why they feel that way. So they said it knowing that a lot of people might pour some money on Ole Miss and get that line down.
Do you think at any point that Ole Miss be favored by Saturday?
No, I think, like you said, to me, I think you give them 2 points for being a home field advantage, and then I would give them, I say 2.5 for having home field, and then 2.5 for what I've seen as far as this is going to be Chambliss's. I think it's 4.5 would be. I think Georgia -4.5 is like the right line.
I'm still holding on 2.5. I'm still holding on 2.5.
And it may get down. I mean, I think that 5.5, a lot of people will jump on Ole Miss and get that line down quick.
Well, Ole Miss is 6-0. Wasn't the best game, but we made it. They made it through, and man, it was
smile, Coach.
Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you got that mixture of fan and coach, and as coaches, we are the worst. We know when we didn't play well. And while everybody is celebrating, we the one that's still agonizing in the offices, and everybody else is, "Ooh, we won!" And all we could do is sit up there and say, "Man, we dropped 3 passes," or oh man, we missed this block,
Yeah,
that block, because so it's me trying to balance
truly,
the coach
truly
side
never happy in a win. We're
and,
just
and the fan side. But hey, we are 6-0. I do want to go. Let's look at the scoreboard right now. Let's look at a couple of these early games just to see how today have been, and it looked like these games turning. Indiana had just taken a 27-20 lead over Oregon at Oregon. Indiana is this is huge because they're 5-0 and 2-0 in the Big Ten.
if
And
they would jump, if they end up with that upset, I feel like they'll jump on it. Like they would replace Oregon as number
yeah,
three, probably.
yeah, either that or yeah, I could see that happening. Um, uh, Colorado is leading by 7 against Iowa State with 5:13
In
to
the
go.
fourth quarter.
Yeah, but to look at some games that already happened today, you had Ohio State beating Illinois 34-16. Ole Miss beat Washington State 24-21. Alabama beats Missouri 27-24. Pittsburgh beat Florida State. Man,
Yeah,
they are all that excitement, man, is it's starting to fizzle out. But Pittsburgh beat Florida State at
that was a good game.
34-31. South Florida beat the Sleeves off of North Texas last night, 63-36. They just reciprocal the numbers. Right now, Tennessee is up 20-17 over Arkansas with 6:50 to go in the third
I need them
quarter.
to. I need Tennessee to score.
Well, Arkansas got the ball right now. You got,
Arkansas looked pretty good.
yeah, yeah. When you make changes, it'll spark something. They mess around and win this game, they're gonna uh, Bobby Petrino, whatever his name is. They'll have a whole big old contract. Well, they probably already signed it. They just ain't told us yet. Colorado is leading Iowa State 24-17 with 4:43 to go in the fourth quarter. Iowa State has the ball. Notre Dame is beating NC State 29-7 with 8:47 to go in the fourth quarter. You got Georgia Tech beating Virginia Tech. Man, it's just so funny to see Virginia Tech struggle. All them years with Beamer and Virginia Tech was always in the mix, and just to see them struggle right now
Can
is
they offer anything to Shane to get him to leave South Carolina and take his daddy's throne, pretty much? Is that a possibility?
I think Daddy being there is enough, and I think the money wouldn't match up, but the under the table money would.
Yeah.
And he will they'll man you they will fully guard. Well, I mean their contracts are guaranteed anyway, but I can see that happening.
They're
Get
doing
out
a
of the
huge,
SEC.
yeah, and they're doing a huge effort. I saw where they were making a huge commitment in NIL for the next coach, and in the ACC, that's the only thing that sucks about the ACC is it's probably a one bid league. Like the ACC champion is in the playoffs, and that's it on most years. Like I think this year,
But I like my
uh,
chances not having to see Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Ole Miss, go to Mississippi State and deal with cowbells. I'd rather go play in the ACC. Coach,
yeah,
I've even considered leaving Ole Miss on college football on PS5 because I'm tired of playing LSU, Alabama, and all those teams. I had an offer after I finished the other day. I said, you know what? I might just go to Colorado State just so I can get out of the SEC because you can't, man, even on the game, you cannot relax. It's always a battle. So
but
yeah,
you can't give up. Like 10-2 in the SEC makes the playoffs for an SEC school. 10-2 in the ACC, and you're sweating like you don't know if you have a spot or not. Like that's my thing. There's no like
and
you
then
don't get
in the
bullied.
ACC, you might win the ACC championship.
That's true too. That's
You
true.
know, 10-2 in the SEC, you might not even get to the SEC championship. 10-2 in the ACC, you might be in the ACC championship. You got a automatic bid.
It's a good point.
So I would get out of the SEC, and it's not like you're not like you in a place where you can really pull the talent or have the money to do it. South Carolina, I mean, I think we got their best a couple of years ago. So go, I mean, hey, go build something. They're gonna respect you because you daddy's son, and
Is it a
just
job? South Carolina's because before, I don't know anything about him prior to like earliest I remember football, but a Hall of Fame coach in Steve Spurrier, I think is he the most successful coach they've ever had? Have they ever been?
He's the most knowable because we haven't really talked about South Carolina coaches.
I know they had Lou
Well,
Holtz, but
Lou Holtz was there,
he didn't
but
do much.
nobody really have done anything there.
Yes.
It's just
Will Muschamp didn't really do anything.
yeah, and it's just I don't know who it's just there. Man, go to Virginia Tech. Go to Virginia Tech, small college town. Man, you will be able to live a king's life. All you got to do is win 6, 7 games a year, no pressure.
His last name's beloved.
Cash your check, and you don't probably won't even have to pay mortgage. They'll pay you. Coach, we got it for you. You go to the store, Whole Food will bring your food to you. You won't even have to pay for nothing. So, man, get out of there and go do something else. Um, Continuing with the scores, Indiana just got the ball back. They're up 27-20 with 6:03 to go in the fourth quarter. Texas is about to upset Oklahoma. It's only 3:30 to go in the game, and they just kicked the field goal, and it's 23-6 with only 2.5 minutes to go. Look like Texas.
I might go one and whatever in picks today. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm no longer listening to you again. But
I knew once we started airing them because I was 19-9.
Yeah. I thought about that 32.5. I was like, man, that's a lot.
When is Ole Miss not though in games against non-conference games? Like Kiffin loves covering that spread against them. I did not see today.
He didn't cover. He couldn't cover my feet today with a blanket. So
I think I could have got some yardage against them today if they'd have put me behind the center for.
well, we do have some night games on that will be on tonight. 6 o'clock tonight. You got Florida taking on Texas A&M at 6:30. You got Kansas going to Texas Tech. At 6:30, you got Georgia going to Auburn. 6:30, you got Michigan going to USC. 6:45, you got South Carolina playing at LSU. At 7 o'clock, you got BYU going to Arizona. At 9:15, you got Arizona State traveling to Utah, and that is it for the top 25. Coach, I did want to talk about last night the Las Vegas Ace. Aces won their third. Becky Hammond won her third championship in 4 years. Ever since she's been named the head coach of the Las Vegas Aces, and Asia Wilson ended up as the Finals MVP. She's the first WNBA player to win regular season MVP, regular season Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP. She was dominant the whole series. She's just a dominant player, and there's been a big argument between who is the best female player that ever came through. And you got one side that leans heavy on Maya Moore, and I'm the type. As far as WNBA, I don't feel like Maya Moore has really matched up with Asia. I think they really pulling from a lot of Maya's college days. Now, she did have some success in Minnesota, and she was great. And she ended up leaving the league and being more of an advocate. But Asia Wilson is a different type. Even our team shoe this year, we got some Asia Wilsons. It's the first time I was very adamant this year that I wanted our girls to have a female signature shoe. We get LeBrons, we get Kobe's, we get Kyrie's, we done had KD's. I want our girls to get some shoes that they can relate to, and we got some Asia Wilson. So last night, during the award ceremony, the commissioner, who is been under fire from the league, Collier, player from Minnesota, called her out in a press conference, and she is hated. What I want to ask you today: has it ever been a situation where you saw where they publicly chastised the commissioner in any league?
No, I mean I think the Major League Baseball commissioner is getting some pushed back because that sport's becoming more of a regional sport. You're not seeing, I remember as a kid watching Monday night or Sunday night baseball and baseball tonight every night through the week, and you're not getting that anymore.
Baseball tonight
But
don't come on anymore?
no, I
Wow.
mean, you got Sunday night baseball, but there's no more baseball tonight.
No.
Like
Yeah.
at the Sports Center, you would have, like that's the only thing you see nationally really is Sunday night baseball, and I think Fox Sports might carry a game on the weekend on Saturdays, but they don't. It's not like a public chastising like you're talking about, So no, I've never seen. Usually you kind of lay off the commissioner.
Well, it wasn't just a criticism of the commissioner. She also even brought up conversations and things that were said about certain players. So when I remember telling my mom last night, I don't think I would have sent my assistant to hand that trophy out. But one of the biggest issues right now is the WNBA players are saying, okay, we got all of these new, media deals, and we're not being paid, and they don't get paid. Their pay is horrible. It is horrible. If I'm not mistaken, they may average maybe $200,000. I mean, Caitlin Clark, who they want to be the face of the league, but I'm still her. And well, I give Angel just a little grace because she did win a national championship, but I still neither one have really did anything in the WNBA, and I don't know why. When Magic and Larry Bird came to the NBA and they said, "Okay, you have to save us," then they
did.
they won championships. They got busy. Caitlin is hurt all the time, and Angel is probably gonna go down as the worst shooter in the box because you can't shoot 30-40% when you're always under the goal. That's why she get all those rebounds. But so that's who they want to be the face of the league. When you got somebody like Asia Wilson, you got somebody like Jackie Young, you got players like Sabrina Ionescu. You got Aaliyah Boston. You got players like Collier who get kind of just pushed to the side, and everybody want to talk about is Caitlin Clark. They want to talk about Angel Reese. So the big situation now is the money. And what I want to bring up, and I had wrote it down, a lot of people don't understand the business side. What we see, we'll see, okay, they're on TV a lot, and they're popular. They should be able to, the NBA is subsidizing them, so they got something that's covering, but I don't think the WNBA have been profitable since they've been in the league. And I think the WNBA is 30, I want to say 32, 33 years old, and they've never been profitable. And my thing is, a lot of people that complain about their pay won't even. Now, one thing, WNBA games are high. I was going to take my wife to Atlanta to a Dreams game. I was like, let me just go. And just looking at the tickets, I was like, oh my gosh, tickets at the top were almost $70. When you can go to Memphis to the Grizzly game and sit at the top for like $10. Like you gotta, like, how can you pack a stadium when you're charging so much? And I looked at it like when, the music business, I've been in the music business. I know, even though I was 16 years old, I know how the music business go. And one of the things that people didn't understand, they said, man, y'all, our music was on the radio. They see us on these flyers. They said, man, y'all open up for H-Town. Man, y'all open up for all of these people. Man, why y'all ain't got nothing? And what people don't understand is that everybody that put money into this got to get their money back. Everybody that invests into this got to get their money back. And even me at 16, I didn't understand that, I was like, crap, there was time, Coach, it was a time I never forget. We opened up for Blackstreet, probably one of the best shows we ever had. Man, the place is packed. And here I am having to catch a ride back to Bruce with my brother-in-law. But the music business, and I kind of, reason why I'm saying that is because they kind of correlate a little bit, because it seemed like they should be making it, but I don't think there's money to pay them.
Yeah, and it's I can't say that I watch a ton of WNBA. I'm like this with every professional sport though. Like I enjoy watching women's college basketball. Like I'm ready to see Coach O and them. But I have a team 30 minutes up the road that I can cheer for, and
Yeah.
that's how I am with about every professional sport, men's or women's. Is it's tough for me to follow because I don't have a team in my backyard. I can follow the college game, but I just don't think it's a good look for your league when these girls are coming out of college and are making more money than they're going to get at the height. Like, what was Angel Reese making in NIL?
Oh, she was in the middle. She was in
Yeah,
the
that's what
middle.
I'm saying. Like, I just think that's tough. And I don't know. I don't know what they do to. I don't think punishing the people who you're wanting to get involved with your game is the way to make your revenue back up. You're talking about ticket prices. Like, I don't think if you want fans to pack the stands, I don't think that's where you need to. It's already hard enough in today's world to survive.
Yeah.
So don't make it hard for them to come enjoy watching you. You know.
And we was really, because we was gonna make a trip. I was just, I was like, me and my wife, we was just gonna pick a time. We was just gonna go to Atlanta. Matter of fact, Coach, no, we was in Atlanta, so we was there. And I was like, you know what? While I'm here, let me just catch catch a dream game. And man, the tickets were, man, they was just crazy. And I was like, I'm not paying, $75 a ticket to sit in row 350. You know, if I'm gonna pay that much, crap. If I pay $70 to go to a Grizzly game, at least I'm in the middle.
You sitting in a good spot.
Yeah, you sit in a good spot at that. Matter of fact, the year that we sat right behind the courtside seat. Coach, those tickets was like $110 a piece.
Yeah.
So, I the game is, I do believe they got to play more games. I do believe they need to. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they did sign. They just did a 10-year deal. I don't want to cite it wrong. I want to say USA. I'm not sure, but somebody in the chat can help me out with that, or somebody that's watching it, y'all can put it in the chat later on and help me out with
Does
that.
their schedule period kind of hinder them? Like it's like their playoffs and finals fall right in the middle of competing with college and NFL football, and NFL is going to be king over anything.
Yeah.
So, do you think moving it up, like sacrifice part of your season to have a good TV rights package, if you played your playoffs and finals in those dog days of summer, there's nothing else. Like all the eyeballs have to be on
The,
you
the
because
only
there's
problem,
nothing
the
else
only
going
problem,
on.
the only problem with that is you will run into the NBA finals. The NBA finals usually run into June, and
Could you not take your all-star break for that 2 week period, in June that they're like to me, why do those to me, those two leagues should do everything they can to coincide with each other and make it
I think it would work better if you stay away from the football days.
that's my because football's king in this country. The
Just
NFL is
you know,
king.
Monday night, and then I didn't. Another thing, I told my mom this. The finals, one of the finals games, was on a Sunday afternoon at 2:30. Why?
That's
No,
a yeah. In
no,
that afternoon
don't
window,
play. Don't play on Sunday. Definitely not at Sunday at 2:30 when you got the main. You might have Cowboys playing the 49ers. Don't put that game there.
right at the start of the 325 window.
Yeah, don't put it there. Set that game Tuesday, Thursday. Crap. Don't mess with. I don't think college football kill them too much because um, it's not all the way regional, but I think it's more leaning regional side. But the NFL, I mean, this is nation worldwide. You do not want to mess with that. So I do believe. I guess that's why the games that they're playing, they only play 44 games, opposed to the NBA played
82.
82. So now the rival league, They play that, which is just a 3-on-3 league.
Yeah.
They play that like in the winter time around that February mark, and they had pretty good success. Um, but it's a shorter game, and it's more competitive, and it draws your attention a little bit more because you get to see more one-on-one. You get to see the skill of the women that you don't know that they have. A lot of
Right.
people won't watch the game because they don't realize how skilled these women are. Now, me being, my mom she's a sports advocate. My mom watched football, basketball. She loved girls softball. She loved baseball in the playoffs. She hate regular season, but she gonna watch it in the playoffs. If you walk into our house right now, if she's not there, if you go in her room, there is something sports related on, and that's just her. So I have been able to follow a lot of women's sports because of my mom. But I also coach a lot of girls sports, so I like to know and I like to push girls sports because I want them to be I want to be genuine. And what I ask my players all the time, okay, who played last night? I want to see if they watch the game. Um,
Yeah.
Now, right now, women's college basketball have trumped men's college basketball for me. I did not know who was in the Sweet 16 in the men. I knew who was in it in the women. I knew who
Yeah.
was in the Final Four in the women. Now, women's college basketball is if I had to rank them, is number one, and men college basketball is number two for me when it comes to college basketball because women college basketball is a little bit more exciting for me. Than
And it even comes down to the format, coach. Like you have the quarter format in the
yeah,
women's so that you're not getting in these foul situations where a half in a men's game
yeah,
draw is just long and drawn out. Like I enjoy women's college basketball.
yeah.
Especially now that we've got Coach Yo, who's made several trips to the NCAA tournament now, and I believe this could possibly be, from what I've seen from the portal and everything. I think this may be one of the best teams
This is one of her
this
best.
year.
This will be one of
This
her best
coming up here.
together.
I struggle. Like I really thought, and I tried. I thought that this last bunch going pro, I was going to give the WNBA a try. And to me, I just struggle with it because I don't know these teams. Like there's no. It was easier to follow when or LSU and Kim Mulkey and them because they're Ole Miss is seeing them twice a year. It was easier to follow uh, Ole Miss because I'm an Ole Miss fan, or Texas is really good in women's college basketball, and Ole Miss plays them. I just can't. I've got to get to where I guess I've got to put that to the side and be like, I need to pick a team because that's where I have trouble. Is I relate and see more stories of the players that are 30 miles away from me.
Well, I'm a Don Staley fan. It's well documented in my house, and I'm always Ole Miss until we play South Carolina. But and I'm just a Don Staley fan. I love her, so I follow her players. So when Asia Wilson went to Las Vegas, then I became a Las Vegas fan.
And
But
she's got the personality too. Like she's outspoken on her beliefs, and you get great quotes from her. Like, is
and
that something that's missing from the pro game? Is the personality from the coaches and stuff, or am I missing on that?
well, I mean, a lot of coaches, just women's sport. You have to be even the way she dressed, man. I mean, she walks around with the little thing in her hand, and she just goes at it. So, um, I just feel like, man, if like you said, that they got to be more strategic in their day placement. More games might not be the answer because where you gonna fit them in?
Yeah,
Um,
but they are growing. Like I think the talent's as high as it's ever been.
oh yeah, yeah. If you get a chance, check out when they go to Unrivaled. Check out
I
them,
watched it last year, or
man.
I guess it was early in the year this year.
Man, their
Like around June.
skill, you'd be amazed at how skilled these players. That's
And
why
they're physical too.
I was so upset when the little point guard went to LSU because she is skilled like when she left South Carolina to go to LSU, the young lady got skills on top of skills. But one of the things I don't like about the WNBA is you draft somebody in the first round and you can cut them.
Yeah.
Madison Scott was drafted 14th overall to Dallas and got cut. I don't understand. Don't build up a draft that's kind of bait and switch. It's kind of bait and switch. I'm going to build up this draft. I'm going to draft your favorite player from your favorite college team, and before you blink an eye, I just cut that player.
I mean, she was a huge deal for us.
I'm ready. I'm looking at like, man, we gotta watch him. Even Rashad, he called my mom, said, look, I got to fly you out here so you can watch a Dallas game, so you can watch Madison Scott. And before we blinked our eyes, she was cut.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I think they got to do a better job that, if you're drafted in the first round, I mean, there got to be something, don't draft me in the first round to cut me. I'm supposed to be first. If I'm first round talent,
I should have a chance to stick around for a minute.
And she's not the only one. It happens a lot, so that I think they need to fix that in their neck. But I think they're gonna be not, which is the one when the players don't. I think they're gonna be locked out until this new collective bargaining gets signed, and I think a lot of those things are going to be one of the things they're going to be worked on. Just to segue into the NBA, got reports today from Chris Haynes that Giannis Antetokounmpo is asking for a trade out of Milwaukee. And I when I look at it, I'm pulling up his salary and how many years he got left. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's on the hook for 2 more years. And if that's the case, if my computer moved quick enough, I can jump right to it. No. He do have 2 years. He got this year and he got next year, and he got a player option for 2027, 2028. So virtually he has 2 more years on his contract. I think if I'm Milwaukee, do it.
I just got on Twitter and never mind. This was I don't think this is still up. I had to get on the latest. The top tweet was that he could become a Knick, but a New York Knick, but that's
the Knicks don't have no money.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they were giving up a lot for him.
They would have to. And if that's the case, you're getting right back in the same situation. The only way the Knicks is appealing is because you got Brunson and Hart and Bridges and Cat. You gotta have those. You're gonna have to. There's no way Giannis. You would have to get rid of Brunson. I mean, you would have to get rid of Hart. You would have to get rid of Bridges. You just signed Jordan Clark. You have to get rid of those players because you cannot have Giannis' contract is $54 million a year.
And it looks like from what I'm reading, just scrolling down, and these are all as of in the last 24 hours, is that he wants to go to New York is what everybody's reporting.
He might want to, but the only way they could make that happen, then you're going to end up gutting your team.
Yeah.
And now you got, Brunson did take a discount. He's not making, the top that he should be making. But Cat didn't take a discount. And, you just gave Bridges an extension. You can't, and you found that Milwaukee found this out when they got rid of Drew Holiday. You can't get rid of your defensive guys, and you can't get rid of Hart or Bridges. But one of them or both would have to go in order to get Giannis to New York. And then what good New York pick's going to do for Milwaukee, because New York is not going to be in the lottery no time soon. So getting their picks, I think if I'm Milwaukee, if I'm trading Giannis, then I'm blowing this thing up anyway. So what I'm going to do, I need some picks. I need to go to somebody that can give me some picks. I need to follow that same model that OKC followed 4 years ago when they traded Paul George away, when they compiled all these picks and they were able to build a championship team that they have right now. Now they done went crazy with giving all of them extensions, and that's going to backfire in about 2 or 3 years. But that's the approach I would go if I'm Milwaukee. I want picks. I don't. You're not me getting Bridges over there. I'm not winning no games with that. And I just need to blow. If I'm going to trade Giannis, I need to blow up the team. I need to get some picks so I can build my team over here.
Well, Texas went final. They won 23-6. Indiana's got 28 seconds in the fourth. They
Wow.
lead 30-20. Tennessee's finally pulling away from Arkansas. They're up 27-17. So.
All right. But still a lot of time in that fourth quarter, though. Well, they got the ball back.
Go
Is it,
score.
so it's looking like Indiana's going to pull off the. Well, can you call it an upset? I guess we're not used to Indiana being a.
They went well. Last year they couldn't win the big game, so this will be the biggest win.
And on the road, on the road.
They're kind of bucking that trend of traveling across the country and losing. They're not pulling a Penn State.
Well, Coach, before we get out of here, man, I do want to go over the NFL schedule for tomorrow so we can be prepared for what we got going on for those that want to know odds and things on the NFL level. On tomorrow morning in London, England, they got the Denver Broncos playing the 0-5 Jets. That will be at 8:30 in the morning if you want.
That's going to be a fun watch right there. Make sure you get up and check it out.
Yeah, let me get up so I can see the Jets play. I love watching Justin Fields throw. He's having a decent year. He's just on a bad team. You got the Cardinals traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts. The Colts are a 7.5 point favorite. You have the Chargers going to Miami to play the Dolphins. Chargers are a 3.5 point favorite. The New England Patriots travel down to I almost said Baton Rouge, but they go to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Patriots are a 3.5 point favorite. You got the Browns and Dylan Gabriel and backup quarterback Shedeur Sanders. We're going to be like everybody else. We're going to put emphasis on everything. Wherever Shedeur is, we're just going to say if he was on the practice squad, we'll be talking about the practice squad. But the Browns go to Pittsburgh tomorrow to take on the Steelers. Pittsburgh is a 6.5 point favorite. You got the Dallas Cowboys going to Carolina. Cowboys are a 2.5 point favorite. Seattle Seahawks will travel to Jacksonville. The Seahawks are a 1.5 point favorite. That is kind of take the over on that, people. Y'all better take Jaguars. Take Jaguars. Don't get tricked by that. The Rams going to Baltimore tomorrow to get their fourth win. They are a 6.5 point favorite. Should be about 12. The Titans will go all the way to Vegas, and they are ready to upset it's the 1-4 bowl right here, baby. Somebody got to win and somebody got to lose.
We got to lose, man. We need to stay in contention for that number one pick.
No, forget that. We're trying to get it. I don't know who we'll get, but
we going to the playoffs.
We're trying to get that. We're on our way to getting it. Vegas is a 3.5 point favorite. You got the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Green Bay. Green Bay is a 13.5 point favorite. Joe Flacco is slated to start for the Bengals tomorrow.
Cincinnati is plus 800 if you want to put.
Yeah,
you got $10 laying around.
Don't do that. The 49ers are traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucs. The Bucs are a 3.5 point favorite. 49ers still will be without their quarterback and their receivers and all their skill players again. You got the Detroit Lions taking on the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Chiefs are a 2.5 point favorite. And then on Monday night, we got a doubleheader. You got the Bills taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Bills are a 4.5 point favorite. And you have the Chicago Football Bears taking on the Washington Commanders in the second half of the doubleheader. Well, Coach, man, this was wasn't a quick show, but I was able to get vent a little bit over Ole Miss, and now I guess I'll go home and try to enjoy the rest of the football night. What you got planned for the night, man?
Got to get supper 8, and I'm excited to watch Texas A&M in Florida, and I'm going to check out LSU and South Carolina, and whatever 2 games YouTube TV puts in the multi-view with them. That's what I'll be tuned into.
Well, man, we are going to sign off and sign out. We hope you had a good Saturday, and we hope you have an even better Sunday. Join us tomorrow night as we recap Sunday night, as we recap Sunday football and all the major stories that's going on in our facility. So he is the coach. He's the offensive coordinator. He called all the plays, and what I do, I try to figure out a way to make sure that he don't have to score too many points. We are the Coach and Coach podcast. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube page. If you're listening to a podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure you subscribe to the Coach and Coach podcast. Set that notification so you can get alerts when our new shows come out, and rate us. Let us know how we're doing. Follow us on our TikTok page, on our Facebook page, and on our Instagram page. So for Coach Benji and myself, we wish y'all a happy Saturday.